Welcome to the Ear for Fear podcast, the horror movie podcast that boils and ghouls and dead alike are screaming for. Don't be afraid to listen as Rick and the Creeps bore their way into your brains, slither down onto your arteries, into your still beating hearts.
Welcome to the Ear for Fear podcast. I'm Rick, and this is the podcast that talks about scary movies or movies trying to be scary. Got one of the creeps in the house again.
Hey.
Got Morris, everybody.
What's up, everyone?
Today, you and I are talking 2018's Incident in a Ghostland. Before we dissect this thing, or at least provide our thoughts. This was a lot to take in. Let's do a quick synopsis. A mother of two who inherits a house is confronted by murderous intruders on the first night in their new home and fights for her daughter's lives. 16 years later, when the daughters reunite at the same house, unusual things start to occur. All right, man. So, Incident in a Ghostland, or I think it's also known as just Ghostland.
Just Ghostland.
Just Ghostland.
Too. Yeah.
You had recommended this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd watched the trailer for this a while back. Didn't know much about it, and I'm gonna ask for you to pronounce the director's name because I know is it now? Correct me if I'm wrong. Pascal.
Mm-hmm.
Lugier?
Yeah.
Lugier. Hey, look
Lugier.
at that. Look, I can speak French now.
Lugier.
He's French, right?
Yes.
French director who also did Martyrs, which neither you and I have ever seen, and we hear is pretty messed up.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen scenes of Martyrs, and after I've seen the scenes, I'm like, nope, because I would say, for the horror community, there are four new wave of French extreme movies, that High Tension being one, Frontiers being another, Martyrs being another, and Inside. Those are like the four holy grail movies that are of the French extreme. And he did Martyrs. That's the only one I haven't seen, and after seeing this movie, I know that Martyrs is way more intense. I doubt that I ever will see it.
Yeah, because this was intense, and
it was tough.
Yeah, and you had mentioned that it might be, and so but I went into it blind. I didn't really know a lot. I did watch the trailer, and so I kind of got an idea. But then, yeah, man, this was a lot to kind of digest, I guess is the right word on this. Let's before we kind of jump into it and kind of go through the film and what we kind of thought of it and maybe some of our own theories. Let's run through there's not a lot of characters here.
No, but yeah, full spoilers, everyone.
Full spoilers.
So if you want to see the movie and you don't want anything to know about the movie, watch the movie first and then come back to us.
And come check it out. Yeah. So we have two sisters, Beth and Vera. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get, and in this movie, you have a younger of the two sisters and you have an older version of the two sisters.
Yeah.
That's the way the movie runs.
Right.
The mom's name is Pauline. She French?
She is French.
She is French. Okay. We don't know what happened to the dad.
No, we don't.
We don't know if dad just ran off or dad had maybe passed away. We don't.
And I'm not quite sure where this is supposed to take place. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be America or Canada or where, but it is an English speaking country. So I'm guessing it's either America or Canada.
That's what I'm thinking too. I almost think it's Canada.
Yeah.
But I'm not positive. And then really the two other characters are the candy truck woman
Yeah.
and then the fat man.
Yeah.
And they're
We'll talk about them in a bit.
Yeah. So the what we get here at the beginning, and we're not going to go through every single thing, but Beth, who is the younger of the two sisters, is a writer,
and she loves horror movies.
She loves horror
stories.
Horror writers, and Lovecraft is her
go-to.
Yeah. And so at the beginning of the film, you're seeing this. She's reading a story that she wrote, and her sister Vera is she's not into it. And Vera seems to be upset. She seems kind of to be like your normal teenage asshole, but I think it's what we find out is
mom gives more attention to Beth.
And then the fact that they're moving into this new house that and again, it's an aunt. I don't know if this is the mother's aunt who passed away, but a relative passed away and they're going to live in this house, but Vera has to leave her boyfriend.
Right.
I would be pissed too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
So they're going to a new town, new area, and we're catching them in the car on the way to the new house.
Yeah, and so we're getting some foreshadowing, some exposition of Beth wants to be a writer. She loves the horror genre as to and Lovecraft is her go-to and so. And then the mother, of course, being a mom, is applauding her as to what she wrote. Whether she really likes it or not, I don't know. But you do that for your kids.
And Vera's like, fuck, why do we always have to listen to your horror stories? It's like, Jesus, she's tired of it. Mom probably dotes over the younger a lot. Yeah. And we kind of get that sense.
We do. And then they stop at this is important. They are driving. And then this it looks like almost like a RV / I guess candy truck, which is just weird.
Well, the funny thing,
you know what it reminded me of a little bit of Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers / High Tension.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
High Tension. Yeah. I didn't even think about High Tension. Absolutely.
Yes.
And this truck is coming up behind them, and they're just doing this,
and they're honking at
them, honking, and they're just like doing the regular speed limit, just go around us. And as they approach them, they kind of slow down so that their eyes meet, and you don't really get a good look of who's in there, but they're waving.
Yeah.
And so Beth and the mother waves, but of course Vera gives the middle finger.
Yeah.
And so
that comes into play later.
It does come into play later. So then they go to this, they kind of stop, and I don't know if they're stopping. It's a long drive for them. They're stopping to probably kind of maybe get some gas and maybe get some snacks.
So it's like a convenience store / gas station.
Yeah.
And immediately, I don't know if you got this, when they walked into that convenience store gas station, did it not look like the same gas station in High Tension?
When
and I saved this for the podcast.
Okay, good,
because I was going to mention that to you
honestly,
earlier.
No, there are definitely some high tension elements in this movie that I felt, but gas station didn't remind me of that.
No, not the gas station, but so much so the inside of the convenience store.
Oh, yeah, reminded you of
High Tension's convenience store.
Oh, honestly, now that I think about it, I guess it did, huh? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It totally gave me those vibes.
Yeah,
but there's the convenience store lady, and what was going on where she had
I think Beth was buying something. She was looking at glasses, and then I think the lady working there was doing her nails.
Yeah.
And she spilled her nail polish, and she had to go clean it up. And then she asked Beth to kind of just look over the counter while I'm doing this. Then she goes to look at the little shelves, and it's got like horror books for like $1 or whatever it is. But then she sees the truck, and it's the candy truck. And I don't know. I get the impression that Mom and Vera did not see it.
They didn't. They were just oblivious to it.
Now the candy truck leaves. I actually thought for a second when the lady went in the back that maybe
she was part of it,
or that they got her.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Because they left, but then Beth goes to see where the newspaper is, and there's a story about how a family was basically murdered, and that the one daughter had survived, and they had kept her they kept her alive when the rest of the family was dead. And again, foreshadowing, man.
Oh yeah,
this all is going to come into play, and fairly quickly.
Oh yeah,
like they don't really. they don't really take a lot of time getting into
the build up.
Yeah. You know, and which I'm okay with, as long as you've established the characters and give me a little bit of who they are. I'm okay if you jump right into it.
Right.
You know, I would almost prefer that sometimes, but they get to this new house and it's out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's just old. It's got like creepy dolls and
it's off like an old highway. It gave me total like
Texas
Chainsaw vibes.
Did too.
You know, even more remote than say like the house in Pet Cemetery, where it's just, you know, not a lot of, you know, neighbors around.
It didn't seem that way. It just seemed like out in the middle of nowhere, old rundown house.
Lots of dolls.
Oh my God. Like, I don't know if there was not a doll in every room.
Right.
Like every nook and cranny of this house had a doll. It just felt dated and old.
And what about that? So, yeah, Beth looks at the mirror, that one mirror, and she goes, "Oh, this is a Russian box. You know, it's got like a secret door on it."
She said Russian? I thought she said Chinese, like Chinese box or something.
I thought she said Russian box.
You could be right.
Yeah.
But where it has like a secret little door,
it's got a little
lever
secret
or something.
little. She goes, "There's a button that you push that you can enter the box." So it's set up to look like a mirror with a fancy frame.
Yeah.
That goes around it. But you did push little button, and then the mirror goes away, and it is an actual like.
It's like a doorway,
where you can walk into it, and fuck.
And then that creepy dolls. Was the eyes all lit up and it was giggling?
It was giggling, and
that shit is scary.
It gave me like deep red kind of.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, where it's like like, you know, popping out at you
for sure.
But it was, you know, just classic horror movie creepy dolls shit.
And so they're establishing, I guess, the room situation, and Vera, of course, is just being kind of an ass, and but she goes outside, and then the mom comes out to smoke, and then she
has headphones on too.
But
Vera
outside, she does,
because she doesn't notice.
Oh, then when the truck pulls up, and there's a little bit of exchange between her and her mom. But to me, I just chalk it up as normal teenage daughter mom stuff.
Right.
We're moving to this place I don't like. I've left my boyfriend, that type of stuff.
Right.
Trying to let everyone know what's happening here. But the truck does pull up and it parks. I don't know. I'm sure it turns its lights off. I don't recall. But when she comes in to bring some stuff from the car in, she leaves the door wide open.
But now, and then we're foreshadowing that obviously whoever's in the truck's going to come through the house. But at the same time, remember Beth had some blood on her hands, and I didn't get that at first.
Oh, I did immediately.
I thought maybe she had cut her finger on something.
Well, what's interesting is, and I know this is kind of dumb, but Beth seemed taller than Vera, so I thought at first maybe Beth she was older. She was older, but she was definitely younger. And what happens here, folks, is she starts her first menstrual cycle, first period, and so she reacts like any girl would
start
react,
crying, and then
and of course, but then her sister's kind of an ass about it.
Yeah,
it's and
then mom's like, "Can you be a little bit more considerate to your daughter, your sister,
and maybe help her here?" But so then shortly after,
I think she cleans up, right?
She does. I think she cleans up, and then this is where man, it kind of starts going off the rails here. And this is where it's all going to tie in, Morris, but I want to ask your opinion on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Before the mother gets attacked, because we know there are two characters here. There's this fat man, his character's fat. This guy is enormous. He's tall, he's fat.
And he's mentally challenged.
He's mentally challenged. And then you have what looks to be a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're immediately going to find out once this person talks, it's not a woman. It's a man dressed up as a woman.
Well, the funny thing is, I really did think it was a woman up until the end.
I didn't. I always felt it was a man, but dressed up as a woman.
Yeah, no, I didn't know until they were talking to the police.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I always felt it was a man, but just dressed up as a woman.
Yeah.
And okay, this is where I'm going to start here, because there's a lot of theories I have on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The mother gets a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck is calling her, Morris?
Mother gets a phone call.
Do you remember when before she gets hit in the back and gets slammed against the wall by the fat man?
Was it?
She gets a telephone call, and it sounds like Vera, the oldest daughter, and she's scared. She's
Really?
scared. Yes.
I didn't catch that.
You didn't catch it?
No.
So this is where, man, and I don't want to give this away.
Do you think it's a time loop thing?
I almost feel, Morris, that this whole thing, and this is where, because we barely have talked about the movie, but I almost feel like I have to say it ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like none of this was real.
Really?
Because, okay, so as the movie goes on, it's supposed to be 16 years later.
Oh no, hold on. Let's not scoot it that far.
I know, but I'm trying to
let's not scoot it that far.
Okay, so let me see. So let me go back a little bit then.
Okay.
So we'll get back to the cell phone call.
Yeah.
Okay. So the mother gets attacked by the fat man, gets slammed against the wall.
And this dude's fucking overpowered.
Huge.
And he's very overpowering. Where I think it almost seems like he has super strength.
Yes.
And
correct.
he's got a cleft lip. He's got kind of a droopy eye. He almost has like a Jason Voorhees kind of thing going on with his face.
Yeah.
But he grunts a lot and you could tell he's mentally challenged.
I don't think he constructs any sort of language.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't say anything. He just kind of, like you said, he grunts and
he
moans.
reminds me of Stephen Fierce in a movie called The Unseen, where he was like the product of a brother and sister, and they kept him down in the basement, where he was like a mongoloid son.
Yeah, I when I was watching this, I felt Jason / maybe The Hills Have Eyes type of something like that, where like inbred or something. But he attacks the mom, appears to like knock her out,
mm-hmm.
And then he goes. Then the girls come to see because they hear something happening, and then they run, and then this fat man gets a hold of them by their hair and drags them
in each hand. And he's dragging them. And I kind of understand they are younger, so I'm guessing 13, 15 or 14, 16 or something around those ages.
13 to 16 is probably a good window of their age.
He's a pretty strong guy. He's grabbing them. He's dragging them.
Felt like it was nothing for him to grab them and drag them down the stairs. And he's walking
forward, and they're being dragged behind by their hair, but neither one of them fight back. There's no fighting going on with these girls.
Really? I felt like there was some fighting. No,
dude. I felt like they could have fought back.
Interesting.
At least tried.
Yeah, a little bit more.
But none of that was really going on. I didn't feel like they did, but maybe I'm remembering it a little different. But
if there wasn't a lot, but there was enough. I mean, they're definitely screaming, and I thought they were kicking.
They were screaming and kicking.
And he takes them all the way down to the basement, and then he grabs them and smells them. And
this is the disturbing part. So he grabs them. He's strong enough to lift them from the ground all the way up to past his head to where the crotch level was within his nose area, and he smells both girls.
Yeah.
So he takes Beth first.
Beth first, correct.
And smells her, and then
drops her back down, and then goes to Vera.
Lifts her up, smells her, and then it's almost like the creeper from Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
Where he was like smelling the clothes or smelling dairy.
And again, I don't know.
It's like and then he grabs her, and then he finds an area within the basement that's dark, and he just takes her off.
He takes her through the
so
door.
You can imagine, okay, she's going to be sexually abused.
Yeah. It's absolutely implied, and that's basically what happens here.
Yeah.
And so Beth uses this as an opportunity to try to escape.
So and
she gets to the top of the stairs, but hears Vera crying and fighting with this and all this other stuff. And then that's when the candy truck woman, this is what they call her. I don't know, this.
She has like long black hair,
probably like it seemed like a black dress or maybe something like that. And then it looks like, and then you hear the voice, and it sounds like a man.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. The voice was that of a man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Ghost, I think after.
Well, there wasn't a lot of speaking from these people.
Not a lot, but from that immediately, I'm like, okay, this is a man dressed up as a woman, and then goes after Beth, but then the mom comes
and jumps on the back.
And I'll tell you, man, this is where, no, I'm not going to get to it yet.
Okay.
The mom is holding her own. Let's
Yeah.
just say that.
Mama's going.
She is getting some licks in. I think she's even stabbed this person. And there is a huge fight in the kitchen. And
They break a bottle, and mom's stabbing the candy.
But I know that this woman or this candy, this other person is stabbing the mom in the stomach with the broken bottle. And I'm like, damn. But I mean, there's a good amount of fighting through this and a lot of stuff that's happening. And you're like, damn, the mother is holding her own, but then the door closes and I'm like, shit. And Beth hears the struggling.
Because Beth is at the top of the stairs. We want to paint the picture for everybody.
Of a basement at the top of like wooden stairs.
And then the doors close and there's kind of like a mesh, like a triangle in the door, but you can't really see,
but you can hear.
But you can hear what's going on. And it's just outside the door.
And so then the door opens and then it looks like the mom has killed this woman or this person
stabbed her in the neck, and then she fell over in front of the door,
and then she goes downstairs to go to help Vera, and as Beth comes down, she sees the mom on top of this fat man and is stabbing him with looks like scissors or something
in the neck,
and looks like and then once the fat man falls, starts stabbing him some more, which is funny, man, because in previous episodes, we've talked about how they always just kind of leave the item there, and she is not taking a chance.
No,
she's stabbing him.
She's like, I want this guy fucking dead. Yeah.
And then
not stab him once and walk away.
Yeah.
Let's get out of the house, girls. And then there's a grabbing of the foot or something.
Yeah. And then the fat man we assume is dead, and then as the girls go, hey mom, look out, and then this person from upstairs comes and she has, it looks like maybe a piece of glass or something, and goes to stab, and boom, and then we go ahead and it's Beth who's just waking up from a nightmare
from like years,
supposed to be 16 years
16
later.
Years, okay.
And then
her husband's next to her in bed.
Yes, yeah, and we find out that she's a famous horror writer.
And she survived this ordeal.
Survived this ordeal, but is haunted by this.
Yeah.
And she's working on it, or finished up a new book that is entitled Incident in Ghostland.
Yeah.
And she's like this. I mean, I don't know if she seems famous enough, but her books do quite well. And it kind of paints this. It's like you went through all of this and look, you came out the other end and you're doing fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be honest, Morris, I always felt like something wasn't right about it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel right to me.
It didn't feel right to me when we were introduced to the son.
The son?
That's
really?
Yeah. That's
I didn't get that with the son, but tell me why.
Okay. Well, let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
So she wakes up from this horrifying nightmare, and it seems like these nightmares plague her all the time.
Yes.
From what the reaction with the husband.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, okay, you're going to go to your, it was like a talk show, and she was going to be on a talk show
to talk about her new book.
Talk about the new book, which is actually the accounts of it. And it didn't seem like the audience knew this, but she basically wrote an autobiography.
The host knew it.
The host.
Remember the host asked her, like, what happened to you and your sister? Because she goes, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, this seems very autobiographical.
Yeah.
Is that what the word autobiographical?
Right.
Is that the correct word?
That is.
I think that's it.
And it's this latest book is kind of the accounts of what she went through 16 years earlier.
Yeah.
So we're given some information that, she's plagued by this nightmare. Her sister really is plagued with this nightmare, and her sister's with her mother. They're
yes, because they get a phone call.
Yeah.
So after this interview has happened, they're watching it almost like on a DVR.
Yeah. Oh, and the son's in their lap, right?
He is,
and he's wearing a Harlequin costume.
Yes.
Which it sounds like he likes to dress up. Which I get that. There's kids that dress up like Superman. They have like a Superman cape.
Absolutely.
There's little girls that they like to wear a princess dress because it's like their favorite thing to do.
Dude, dress up is a normal thing kids do. Absolutely.
But the funny thing is something in the scene felt off. I can't quite explain how it felt off to me.
Interesting.
Because he had the Harlequin hat on and he had the Harlequin Harlequin like a clown. Everyone, it's like a it's got diamonds on the clown suit, and then
Yeah.
he has like a pointy hat.
Yeah. I
So-
I don't think I felt anything at that point.
Mhm.
I think what I think it was for me was, it was two things. It was, wow, she seems okay
Mm-hmm.
going through this experience. And it doesn't mean that you can't be
Right.
okay years down the road. If
Yeah, you can have a normal life.
absolutely,
and marry
but
and
the
have
fact
children.
that she was so famous and the book sales were like through the roof, and
Right.
and then the telephone call, the cell phone call.
And it was her sister Vera.
Now, this is when I get back to the telephone call,
Because it sounded like, you're saying it sounded like Vera calling the mom.
exact same call that we supposedly got 16 years earlier. Now, if it's 16 years earlier, and we don't quite know what year it is, but let's say it's 2018 or 17 when the movie was done. 16 years earlier, I don't know what that would make us. 2002?
Yeah.
The cell phone that the mother answered the phone with was a brand new cell phone. It looked like a new cell phone that
Right.
you and I would have these days.
Right.
Okay, so she gets the telephone call again 16 years earlier inside the house right before the intruders came in. It sounded like a very irate, very scared
Yeah.
Vera. And she couldn't understand the phone call.
Mm.
I can't understand you. What? Then she got attacked. Then we get the same type of phone call.
I'm trying
16
to remember mom back in the old time.
Uh-huh.
Did she say,
The
hold
old
on,
time.
the 16 years earlier, did she, I can't understand it. Did she walk out of the room?
What she did was she was in the hallway, I think.
Right.
She was either in the room or in the hallway.
Trying to
I'm
like
thinking-
walk away to
I'm
try to
thinking
get
that
a better signal.
What I think she may have been was in the bedroom and walked into the hallway to get a better signal, and that's when she was attacked.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounded like Vera to me,
Mm-hmm.
like freaked out and scared, man. And
Now it makes me want to rewatch the movie because I missed that.
oh man. And so then when the supposed 16 years later
Mhm.
phone call, which seemed exactly the same to me, I started thinking to myself, okay, what's going on here?
Mhm.
Is this really happening? Is this real? I'm not
Mhm.
sure. Is this a dream? And so then when she gets the call and is worried about, and her mom's not picking up the phone call because Vera lives with the mother, then she hops on a plane and flies to wherever this is at.
Yeah, we're
And they're in the same house. Then I was really skeptical.
Right.
Skeptical. I'm sorry, Batten. Most people, if not all people, are not staying in a house
Mhm.
where something this traumatic happened.
Right.
And then the fact that Vera looks older, of course, but just looks horrible, man.
Horrible.
Looks beat up. Looks like she hasn't slept in forever. She looks like she's in a hospital gown. And it's
they also said that I don't remember, there was a line of dialogue, but mom kind of alludes to the fact that she got out of the hospital. Like maybe she does like mental stays there.
Oh, I never got that. I never got that.
And that she, but some of that interaction was really odd because Vera likes to chain herself up in the basement.
Yes, she chains herself up. Like she keeps like a key, but she also keeps like earlier in the movie we saw her having a pair of handcuffs.
Yeah.
And then the 16 years later, she uses those same handcuffs and she chains herself to certain areas of the house.
Yeah.
That's what I got. That's the impression I got. But while this is happening, the mother never felt the mother never felt overly concerned, which I thought was weird. It's like, is she just checked out? Because she's dealing with this every day, so she's kind of
for the
numb
last
to
16
it?
years. Yeah.
Yeah, so she numb to it. Again, none of this felt right to me.
Oh, and then the mother mentions, oh, yeah, you really fixed up. Beth saying, oh, mom, you really fixed up the place. It's been so long since I've been here, which doesn't really make sense.
It looks exactly the same.
Yeah, but there wasn't.
Did it look different to you, Morris? Like it looked the same
it
to
didn't
me.
seem like it had the dolls in there.
She did say something about how she's been trying to sell some of the dolls.
Oh, yeah. She's like, oh, I made some pretty good money from selling all the toys, she said.
But 16 years. So this.
Oh yeah, and then she's like, "Mom, I'm doing really well. I can help out." And she's like, "I don't want to take your money."
But no, she sends her money. She goes, "Well, haven't you been using the money I've been sending you?"
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
And so again, dude, I'm just not like, it just doesn't feel right. Something isn't feeling right to me. But I'm not like 100% yet. But I'm close.
Oh yeah, me too.
And then, but Vera is she's talking about being constantly attacked. And then isn't there a scene where she is attacked, but you can't see anything?
You can't see who's attacking her.
But it looks like someone is hitting her and breaking her fingers.
It reminds me of The Entity.
It did remind me of The Entity.
Yeah, where she's like getting smacked around by some unseen.
So for a second, I felt like maybe the ghosts of. So let's say, for instance, the mother did kill them.
Yeah. So
maybe the ghosts of them are inside this house and they are attacking Vera.
Right.
But why not the mom?
Right, not the mom. Yeah.
So yeah,
that was really odd.
It's a lot to take in, man. In this, and so.
But we'll get to why not the mom.
So yeah. So then, okay. So then what happens? So we know Vera gets attacked. It doesn't. Beth get attacked?
So
tell me if I'm missing something.
So Vera's,
because this is a lot to take in.
Vera's like, you're just not here, Beth. You're not here.
Yeah.
You're not.
Almost like she's upset.
Yeah.
At Beth.
Like she's not upset because she's not there.
Yes.
She's like, you're just not here. I'm getting the brunt of this.
Like she's absorbing it.
Yeah. I'm getting it all, and you're just not here. But when they're done playing with me, they're going to play with you.
Yes. And I think there's a scene where you hear the voice. You just hear the voice when Beth is walking through the house and she goes through the kitchen and again, I'm not positive, but it says
right. That is okay. Now
it's a man's voice,
right?
Morris.
So since the big guy can't talk,
yeah,
that makes sense. That other okay. Yeah. So I did hear the voice.
Yeah, and it says something like, "We broke your sister, now we're going to break you," or something like that. And then isn't she attacked?
She's attacked
because she hears a truck outside,
and then she's knocked out.
She's knocked out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She hears the truck. She goes outside. Then she sees mom, and mom's like
has a wheelbarrow or something
full of dolls.
But then we see like a wolf.
Yeah. There's a wolf out and
some of this stuff isn't making sense, right?
And
then we see the truck drive off, but we don't know what sort of truck it is.
I was getting total Nightmare on Elm Street vibes.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Absolutely a little bit.
Because there's it felt very dreamy.
It did.
And then I'm at this point
it was a whole
something's up. And when we are pulled into finding out what it is, it totally made sense.
It made sense.
And then I'm like, okay, well that all fucking makes sense.
So okay. So this is where I guess we could.
So she gets knocked out as an adult.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up and she has like doll paint on her.
It looked like she had makeup, like doll paint. But her face was all bruised up.
But then they were handcuffed to the bed post.
Was she handcuffed? She might have been handcuffed.
I'm trying to remember.
I know it's hard. There's a lot of stuff going on.
I think we just both seen this once, but to absorb everything that was going on.
It's tough. It's tough to remember everything, and we may have some stuff that's off a little bit.
Right.
But she's beaten up, like her face is. Mm-hmm. So the thing is this: if you're hit once, yeah, you could swell up and bruise, but her whole face was bruised up. Her eyes looked bruised, like she was beaten up.
You're talking about Vera?
Or no, Beth. Well, Vera definitely did.
Vera her face didn't look human.
Didn't even look human.
Yeah, she looked like she was the Elephant Man.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But then Beth started to look that way, and then we're trying to like, and then it's like, yeah. So she wakes up from this, and she's trying to get out of the house, but she can't. The house is locked. And then does she go upstairs because she hears Vera?
Yeah.
And then
Vera's like dressed up like a doll.
She is dressed up like a doll.
Adult Vera. Yeah.
And she's erratic, man. She's screaming and
she has like a doll
yelling
dress on.
And is this where we?
No, I don't think it's yet.
It's yet. Go ahead, man.
So I think we go somehow. Vera's like running through the house, and it looks like she's being thrown around, and it's almost like the unseen.
Entity. So she's being thrown.
And then somehow Beth gets downstairs. I can't remember why or if she was trying to get out of the house. She was looking for a way to.
She was trying to get out, and the door was locked.
Door's locked. She gets in the kitchen, so she goes back down to the basement? Oh, because Vera locks herself up in like one of the cages. There's like a cage in the basement now.
And it looked like it had almost like old mattresses on the walls.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was weird.
And it's like, how can mom be okay
I don't
with
know.
this?
See,
right?
again, this is where we're trying to like piece everything
so then
together.
Mom somehow gets back up the stairs into the kitchen. And then we see Beth going up the stairs. And then I think that's when she starts waking up.
She starts waking up.
Yeah, because Vera's like shouting for her, like, Beth,
Yeah,
Beth,
yeah.
come back.
Come back.
Come back.
Yeah.
And then we see that whole interaction play out again.
In the kitchen happened supposedly 16 years earlier.
Right. With the we'll call her the
I don't know, the candy truck woman man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a man.
We'll call her the witch because later on the girl's called one's a witch and one's an ogre.
Oh, okay. So
we'll call her the witch.
So then it plays out how it supposedly really happened, which was the mother
got stabbed with the bottle.
Yeah.
And she dropped dead.
And then I thought
she cut her throat.
The witch, this person cuts the throat.
Yeah.
So now we're supposed to be back to reality.
Right.
Supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Are we back to reality they are now, supposedly they're now the girls, the teenagers, and she's made everything up that she's this famous writer. She's married. None of that was real.
None of that was real. This is
she's a storyteller. She writes stories.
So she was in her head the entire time of this, where she's
the adult of Beth
version. Of herself. So Beth basically where she's being held, where I'm guessing it's like an upstairs bedroom. There's a picture of, I don't know who the man is. But that was
I almost thought maybe it was like maybe their father. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe she imagined that her father that's non-existent in their lives as teenagers.
Yeah.
Was her husband. It played the role of her husband.
And then there was like a poster or something on
there's like a little picture of like a Harlequin boy. And that was,
that could have been her son.
Her son.
But then there was the host of that talk show was on the wall as well.
Oh, she was like a magazine
cover, something. It was all these things that,
and then there was a stuffed wolf in the house.
Yes. So all of these things that we thought were real, she made up in her head. She basically disconnected.
She disconnected and put a story together where she
couldn't deal with the trauma of this and made this up while this is still happening in her and Vera being abused and everything else.
And this had to have been days that they were going on through, because mom didn't look totally rotten later.
No, she didn't, because we do see her later on.
Yeah. So, Vera's like, basically, Beth, come back to me. She's like shouting at her because basically Vera's pissed because Beth is just so in her world, in her mind, that Vera's like, shit, I can't do that shit. And I'm getting beat up and molested.
She's getting the brunt of it all. Yeah.
Because it was terrible. I mean, I hate movies where I see like anything that deals with rape.
Dude, I can't deal. And I don't want to talk too much.
No,
obviously about it.
Yeah.
I think the listeners, we painted a picture. They understand what's happening.
But there was blood on her inner thighs.
Yeah. And I hate, dude, I can't deal with stuff like that.
Yeah. It's difficult.
And so I could kind of understand if she is a storyteller, I could see her basically disconnecting from reality and inserting herself into this world that she's created 16 years later and not dealing with what's happening right now.
Right.
But we know that's she's going to be pulled back, and now she has to deal with it.
She has to deal with it. Yeah. So we're now in the
almost the present. Like it's supposed to be the present, but then this is where my theory comes in, where I almost don't believe any of this happened.
Really?
I don't, man. The telephone call at the beginning makes no sense. We know the 16 years later is not real.
I would be interested to hear what the director.
I would be too. Like, what was his intent here?
Yeah.
Like, because if she's a storyteller, and she likes writing stories. How do we know this whole thing is just not a?
Because now that you have this thing, this idea of how this plays out, the very, 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 very last scene makes sense.
Exactly.
So
Morris.
let's kind of paint where we're at right now.
Well,
so,
we know there's a lot of
there's a lot of abuse.
There's a lot of abuse.
And this guy's fucking strong. He's like
strong.
lifting them up,
the fat man,
and he's throwing them around. The candy truck woman, who's the witch. I will call her the witch.
We're going to call her from the witch from now on.
She's pretty tough too.
She is. Oh yes, absolutely.
And then I didn't. And at this point, I still didn't realize that she was a man.
Yeah.
You know, but
there's a scene where she is, because Vera says something about don't cry, don't struggle, something. I can't remember.
She said, don't move and don't cry.
Yes.
Because if you do, it's going to be worse.
And then so the witch is dressing up Beth as a doll.
And we're like painting her face like, shit, what's that movie? Betty Davis.
Mommy. Mommy. No, not Mommy Dearest. I can't think of it either.
I can't think of it.
I know. It's like on the tip of my.
I want to say Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, but it's not. It's Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Thank you. So
she's
damn
like Baby Jane.
Yeah.
So she's got the white face with the pigtails and the very expressive.
Yes, the makeup is super like over the top,
way over the top,
and then the outfit looks like something you would put on a doll.
Yeah,
and then the witch takes her
fluffy dress,
takes her up to this room where these other dolls are, and sits her on this.
And all these dolls are fucking creepy, dude.
Man.
No real person.
Different would have sizes, like I'm
some
like
are human sizes.
Yeah, human sizes, and some are smaller, some are medium.
I almost thought some were corpses. Dude.
I did too.
But I guess they're not. They're just like mannequin dolls with
creepy. I don't know who in the hell would collect this many dolls, but it's creepy.
So she sat
by the witch. The witch puts her on this kind of like this armoire, like I don't know what this hutch thing,
little armoire,
and she's supposed to stay still,
and she like tilts her head to the side,
to the side,
and there's another doll next to her is tilting their head in the same direction. And then she leaves.
Then the fat man or the ogre comes in to do stuff. I don't want
to play with the dolls.
Yeah, to play with the dolls.
So he's coming in. He's very like, just all grunting and stuff, and going to each doll and taking it. And then he finds one that was right next to her.
Yeah,
and he grabs it. It's life size, and he puts it on his lap. And he's like touching up the dress of this doll.
Yeah,
and it's a doll. It's not a human. And then he's taking this lighter out.
Yeah.
And he's going to he's like burning the hand of the doll.
Almost like a small little torch lighter.
Yeah, it's a torch lighter.
And burning
And then, I mean, and Beth is just like, she's got streaks of tears and she's lightly shaking. She's thinking, fuck, this is going to happen to me.
Yeah.
He's going to.
Oh, and he comes and grabs her.
Yeah, he grabs her. And then he's, trying to reach up her dress. And
I don't want to go into the specifics on it, but so I mean, goes to abuse her, and she stabbed. She had grabbed a.
Oh yeah, she grabbed a spike,
like from like it would be like almost like a hair clip, but
it had like a long nail. It was almost like a long nail.
Yeah,
but she stuck it in her hair, so she had it there. And then she
uses it to.
So he was trying to light the lighter, and then it didn't light because one of the dolls started laughing. And it distracted him.
It distracted him. Yeah.
So he went over there and he's like, punching on the doll.
Yeah.
And dropped her, which was good because.
But didn't he go all crazy and start slamming all the dolls throughout the room and breaking them,
beating all the dolls because in his head, he's like, "You're ugly. You're this. You're that."
Yeah.
So all the dolls were talking back to him, which they weren't. It was just in his head or maybe the narrative's head.
Exactly. Maybe we're going to find out. Maybe she wrote this in.
Yeah.
And then she stabs him. And I think she goes to try to help Vera.
Oh, yeah. She stabs him in the back of the. And then he doesn't succumb to it. He's like, because that's when he starts beating up all the dolls afterwards. And then he grabs her again. And then he puts a handcuff on her, and then she hits him with a typewriter, like those old school typewriters. Oh yeah, the big heavy
typewriters. And I think she hits him a few times.
And then it's weird. This is what I found was weird. and then maybe it makes sense of what you're saying. So the candy truck woman was like
The witch.
The witch was locked in a closet, or like she was behind a closet door, in the hallway
that was locked. Like it was almost like it was coming from the basement or something.
And she had a sledgehammer on the other side, but she wasn't doing anything with it. She was just sitting there waiting. It's like she was waiting for when he was done with whatever he was doing.
Exactly.
Which is weird. There was like a weird symbiotic, kind of relationship that this witch and ogre had,
Yeah.
But yeah, Beth comes out to the hallway. She, again, there's different points of this. Vera's just beat the hell up.
She's beat up. Yeah.
And I think she goes to,
I thought she went to try to help her.
Yeah. But then at that point, it sounds like the witch knew that she like got out of the room. So she starts smashing down this door that she's on the other side of, which is weird going out into the hallway. Like she was just waiting there to smash through the door.
It's confusing a little bit, the landscape of this house, like how it's set up and what's happening. And it's a bit confusing.
Yeah.
It's a bit confusing. And
then
at what point does she go back to now? Okay. Cause she has another dream.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes later, but I know her and
it does come later.
I know they attack the witch.
Yeah.
And they get out of the house.
They're running.
For it seemed like forever.
Dude,
man.
they're running. So they run past the road. They run into like the woods. They run past the woods into an open field to another road.
And then they see a
cop car.
And they yell and yell and yell. And
then they like.
To me though, it didn't seem like the cop car.
Like they would have heard them.
Exactly, Morris. This is what I'm getting at.
So then it seems like they knew that the girls were there and and I want to say it's a field, but they're probably about maybe 60, 70 feet from the road.
Correct. It looked like it was dirt. Like,
yeah.
It was like maybe a farm of some sort or maybe something like that. And then they come to help the girls.
Yeah.
And then the one guy calls it in.
There's one man, one woman officer.
The woman stays with them.
And then the girls are like, don't you come and touch us.
Don't touch us. Yeah.
Because
touch us.
Of course, they've been abused for days and days.
And I don't even know how long this has happened.
Or what kind of ordeal they've been through. Yeah. It's like, what have you girls been through?
Yeah.
Because they're both wearing dresses. They both have makeup that's streaked in their face
because of just beat up and they're swollen. I mean, it's swollen eyes, swollen cheeks, everything. And then, but then the man, the policeman goes and calls it in, comes back, but gets shot.
Oh, but that was cool. What the director did is because he had the headlights from another car.
Yes,
and you're thinking,
oh shit, it's candy truck
because it's kind of out of focus.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, fuck, that's the candy truck.
And then it was
and he's just on the seat on his radio, and he's not paying attention to who these people are. But then it was kind of a fake out. It was just a white truck.
It's just a white truck coming by, some delivery truck coming by. We don't think anything of it, and then all of a sudden
he goes
back.
He goes back to where the girls are and the female officer are, and like I said, they're probably a good 70 feet, maybe 100 feet from the road, and then that's where he gets shot. And then apparently the candy truck lady had been following him this entire time. Followed the trail or whatever. She came out of where they were, they ran.
It seemed like from that direction.
And then she had a gun.
She had a gun.
And which we've never seen before. And then she shot him. And then of course
sounds like a great story though, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then she shot the female officer and then hit her in the head.
Well, she was trying to reach for her gun. She couldn't get to it. And then, took a bullet to the head. And then, so then the girls are now back into this candy truck and they're driving back to the house.
Which is, I would think.
So this is the thing, Morris, is where was the truck the whole time? Because they ran forever.
Right.
So then where was the truck at in the scope of
this road?
Yes. And the police officers.
Yeah.
Again, it sounds like a very lavish story.
Right. And then this is where it kind of infuriated me because I'm trying to like not suspend belief on this whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm just going, why wouldn't you guys fucking, I mean, you've already been through shit. Why wouldn't you fight back with this skinny
this witch,
witch man or whatever?
But I mean, but it has a gun. This person has this gun, just killed the officers.
Right.
I don't know. I think I would probably try to fight back. I'm like, I'm not going back to this house.
Right.
So I'm either going to die here. I'm going to die here or I'm going to kill you.
Right.
And so, but then we see them driving back in this truck back to the house. But then this is where Beth goes back into another dream.
Yeah, she goes back into her mind again.
So this is where she's it's like a party in her favor, probably as to the success of her book.
Oh, and each time she does this dream, Vera's like, "Don't leave me, Beth. Come on,
don't leave me. Yeah,
don't leave me. Oh God, because she could see it in her face.
Oh yeah,
that she's
she's checked out, man.
She's checked out. She's like,
and then this is where we know the
none of this is real,
because she's sitting down and has a conversation with Lovecraft, the writer that is.
Oh yeah, it's like a gala with
big
champagne
party,
and it's lavish and it looks ritzy and Lovecraft, who's been dead for
1930s, I think they said. so we know it's not real.
It's not real.
And then she sees Vera.
Oh, but we gotta say Lovecraft's like, your book's the greatest book.
Yeah.
Don't change a word of it.
Don't change a word of it.
Don't change a word of it. It's just keep it
how it is.
Yeah.
But then she sees Vera in the foreground, right?
And Vera's like,
or is in the background? I'm sorry, in the background.
And she's dirtied and it's adult Vera.
Looks like Vera from the house.
Yeah. But it looks like
so she goes
Vera
to follow her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like running all over. And this is where I'm trying to remember.
So she gets to a door and she sees Vera hitting the door, but does she see the mother? Does the mother say go help her or something like that?
Oh yeah, that's right. Go help
Is
your
that
sister.
right? Okay,
right.
Go help your sister.
Oh no.
No?
Mom didn't say go help your sister.
What was it?
She said, no, leave your don't worry about Vera. Just don't worry about that. Just leave Vera alone.
Okay.
You live your own life. You remember that?
Yes. Now it's coming back to me.
So
but she does go to help Vera.
Yeah.
And then realizes they're back in the truck and they get back to the house.
And then that's where they see the one ogre dude didn't freaking die.
No, he's still alive.
He's still alive. And he's at the doorway of the house waiting for them to come in. And then I'm trying to remember, help me with the details of this.
I know, I'm a little foggy myself.
I'm foggy on this.
I'm trying to remember. They're back in the house. But what happened here?
Yeah.
Was there a...
this is foggy for me.
I can't remember. Like,
there's more struggle.
There is. And I know we constantly see a help me on the mirror. And I know I'm trying to remember like how this...
Help me on the mirror was drawn.
Don't they go back? Yeah. And then I know that she was hiding from him. They ended up back upstairs.
They did end up back upstairs and
with again the fat man, the ogre,
and he was like lifting both of them and they're both in the room.
But see, what's an important part of this is when the male police officer called it in, said the house.
Yeah.
So the other officers knew where to go.
And the gas station lady helped because she was there at the scene.
That's
the
right.
The gas station lady was there because she helped. She's like, oh yeah, on the radio. She's like, I know.
She said whatever the aunt's name was.
Yeah, Clarice,
something
I think
like that.
was.
Yeah. But I don't recall. Like, I mean, I think there was implied there was going to be some more abuse, but
yeah.
But then when up in the room is when, goddamn, dude.
I almost wanted to say, oh yeah, he was choking the crap.
I'm going to apologize too for the listeners. We only watched this the one time.
Yeah.
And there's so much going on in this film. It's hard to try to follow every single little detail.
He's choking Beth out and she's like spitting up like foam.
Because he grabs them like they're nothing and is choking them.
And he's choking her and she's like,
that's right. Almost like she's just about ready to die.
Yeah. And then at that point, that's when he gets shot.
Okay. Gets shot. But then there was a scene though where Beth was, I want to say Vera was upstairs. Beth was downstairs, ran up and attacked the witch or this man woman thing and was biting her, ripping the skin.
Oh yeah. She was biting chunks out of her.
But bit a finger off. Cause I think it was like, you're not hurting us anymore.
Yeah. She went full,
cannibal.
yeah. I would say, feral. Yeah, she went.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was bit off a finger, bit off chunks of like maybe the her arm. I want to say maybe her shoulder,
and her neck.
And I know the cop comes in and shoots the fat man and kills him. I think.
And then ends up shooting the witch, and then that's where we see the wig fall off.
The wig,
and
the wig falls off.
He had a bald head.
Yeah, a bald head, and then of course they everyone comes and they get inside the ambulance. And there's a scene right before they get in where it looks like they're both going into different ambulances.
They're both on gurneys.
On gurneys, and then
that's like mouths to Vera. I love you.
I love you. And then goes inside of the ambulance, and then the EMT basically says, "Wow, you
must be into sports.
You're into sports because you're that the fact that you survived this and you're so strong and all these things." And then he goes and then she says something like, "Oh, I'm not into sports" or something. I like to write stories.
I like to write stories.
And again, and this is where
and then she say I'm really good at it. And then
I don't know if she said she's really good.
It's almost like she's winking at the screen.
To me, and this is where my theory comes in. And I know we're finally trying to get to the theory, but there was a lot to dissect on this. Is I almost believe, man, and I don't know if I'm right. Again, this is just me guessing. I almost believe this whole thing was not even real. I believe the whole thing was a story. This was almost her news story especially at the beginning where her sister gave her a bunch of crap for the stories she were writing. And maybe some of them are really not original and you're kind of stealing from, say, maybe Lovecraft or whoever.
Oh, well,
this was her original,
Well, the funny thing is when she was reading that story in the beginning of the movie in the car, it sounded like a Lovecraft story.
Did it?
Even though it was her own original story,
it sounded like a Lovecraft.
Oh yeah, it sounded like.
I never read Lovecraft, so I can't say.
Just the wording and the imagery, it sounded like Lovecraft.
So my theory, and I don't know if I'm right.
This was so not Lovecraft.
Yeah, that this was a story that she wrote. Yeah. None of this happened. None of this. And
I'd be interested
maybe
to know.
Maybe the house was real,
right?
But everything after they got there,
maybe
was a story.
The candy truck that passed them, maybe she just used it.
She used it.
Yeah.
Well, we all use stuff, right? Like I can't speak because I'm not a writer, but I know authors and writers use what they've experienced. They use real stuff, and then they And so I have a feeling that's what happened here. And none of it happened, man. None of it was real. Mm-hmm. We know the 16 years ahead wasn't real. I almost believe that they never got attacked, but that's what was written. Mm-hmm. Mother was, maybe they're still teenagers.
Right.
Maybe they're still teenagers, and that's what we're seeing. And again, the fact that the story, the book that she supposedly wrote was called Incident in a Ghostland.
Right.
I don't know, man. Just my thoughts, just my theory. It makes sense. Doesn't mean it's the fact. For all I know, I'm way off.
No,
and it really did happen.
It's interesting that you bring that up because it's that theory could be very true. Like I said, I'd be interested to know what the author did. I just know that the author did throw some.
The director, you mean?
Or the director.
Did he also write the movie too? Did he do the screenplay?
No idea,
I'm not sure if he did the screenplay as well.
I mean, there was a lot of the brutality of the truck and the people in it. Totally brought me back to High Tension.
He did write it.
Oh, he did?
He did. He wrote and directed this. I had heard that when he was doing Martyrs was, he was going through a massive depression where I don't know if he was suicidal. And so he put all of that into Martyrs. Maybe Incident is part of some of the stuff he was still going through or went through. And so I would love to sit. I don't know if there's an interview out there that he talks about it. Again, this is just I'm just guessing. I don't know if it is, but it sounds damn good.
Well, some of the elements they used in this story are taken from other stories, like some of the elements of Martyrs. I mean, there was two girls in different parts of the story of Martyrs that were brutalized, like just beat the hell and other bad things were happening to them, and then. Even the way that we see the truck, the candy truck, it almost reminded me of. I mean, I know you didn't do anything with High Tension, but also another French director. But the brutality of a High Tension guy in that story,
and then the fact that, and I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen High Tension, but we also have an episode, so check out our episode. But we also know in High Tension that at the end, it's not what we thought it was.
Yeah.
So, that's all I'm going to say about that. If you haven't seen High Tension, I want to ruin for you. But, so I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It should
little elements.
It is. I mean, it sounds great when I say it. I could be so way off,
Yeah.
and
it really did happen to them.
It could have happened to them.
Yeah.
And it was whatever year it was supposed to. So if it was 2017, 18, that's when it happened. That would make sense on as to the newer cell phone. But again, that call, the two calls, man, sounded the same.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be 16 years later. That's why I'm saying, I think, man, I don't know. You know. But anyways.
But I have seen that in other horror movies where the past call the present.
Yeah,
you know?
some sort of
And then there's like a loop going on. That's a common trope in a lot of
it is.
like scary stories.
And again, I don't know, man. It's
like
this
Twilight Zone
movie.
thing.
This honestly, man, this movie probably warranted us watching it 2 or 3 times.
Oh yeah, before we did
an episode. And so we're at a little of a disadvantage because we only saw it the one time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of take in. It was a lot of digest, man. Like there's after I got done watching it, I had to sit for a little bit and try to just process it. It didn't mess with me. It's a movie that sits with you for a bit.
It's a brutal film. It's, I mean, if you like horror for like, haunted houses and ghosts and things like that, or, Michael Myers, Jason killers, this is not that movie. This one's gonna mess with you a little bit more.
It is. And it's, I will say I did like the movie.
Yeah.
I would absolutely recommend it to someone. I don't know.
If you're feeling depressed, I wouldn't watch it.
Don't do that.
If you're in a lighter mood and you want to, watch it with a friend, and have a pizza and laugh, about something else afterwards, watch it then. Don't watch it if you're feeling down, because it's definitely not that kind of movie.
It's not that movie, but it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I think it was done quite well. I think the performances are really good. I think the two. I would say that because again there's 4 different actresses, but they play the same character. So you got young Vera and old Vera versus young Beth and old Beth. All 4 of them are fantastic, and the mom's great in it too. And the crazy fuckers are crazy. They're great at being crazy and shitty and horrible, and so it works. The music works. I would say the feel of the movie. It's the tone of it, the color of it, it all works. Again, I just don't know if it's going to be for everyone. I don't think it's for everyone.
I guess it was a brutal movie to make too, because little bit of trivia.
I did read this.
So the younger Vera, when she was making this, it's supposed to be sugar glass, and I guess the sugar glass didn't work up to par. And these things happen with productions of movies, and it ended up cutting her, and I think
it was gruesome.
And I saw the pictures online.
It was bad, yeah.
And she had to be stitched up.
She fell through the glass because the director said, "Hey, I want you to pound on it." She was reluctant.
Yeah.
He goes, "No, it'll be fine." It breaks and slices her up, dude. Like
slices her face,
like bad,
really bad, and she had to be stitched up. And I think she had a lawsuit.
She did. She sued him,
and I think
I don't know the result, but. It's horrible. I mean, she's a young actress that has her whole career ahead of her, and now has this disfigured.
Well, I did see her afterwards, in like recent photos of 2021.
Oh, okay.
And because she's played in other stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a scar, but I mean,
not too bad.
Not terrible.
That's good. That's good. But how traumatic is that?
Yeah.
Not only are you working on a traumatic film.
Yeah.
Because this is, I mean, dude, this is bad.
Yeah.
Then during the filming, you get hurt. I mean, holy moly. Yeah. I mean, it just sounds like, she went through some shit on this film, man. But they were fantastic.
Yeah, she deserved every penny.
Every penny, right? So anyways, that's Incident in a Ghostland, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, I say check it out. I did like it. I think it's a good movie. I think I would recommend it to people. I don't think I would own it.
Yeah, this is one that I don't believe that I'd want to revisit anytime soon.
I don't think I could watch this
Yeah.
movie several times. Now, I think for doing a podcast, I think you need to watch it a couple times to kind of really wrap your head around it. But I don't know if I want to watch this again, man.
No, I think I'm good for a while.
Yeah, I think I am too. But that's it, folks.
Yeah.
Anything else you think we maybe missed? I don't think
Nothing
so.
I can really think of now. I mean, like you said, just backing what you said, all the performances were great. You know, Mom, the young daughters, the older versions. You know, I noticed the older version of Vera. I've seen her in other stuff.
I think I have too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a pretty famous character actress, and I can't place her name right now. But
But cool.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks again for coming on out, bro. Always appreciate it.
Absolutely, man.
Everyone who's stuck around and listened to this one, we appreciate it. And everyone, take care out there.
Yeah. Take care.
You listened all the way to the end. We appreciate that. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Ear for Fear Podcast, Twitter at Ear for Fear, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Ear for Fear Podcast. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There we list news and events. We're available on all the main platforms, so make sure you tell a friend. We hope you come back and get an earful.